We're back on for the rest of part 2, in which we'll be exploring Chris's experience of St. Teresa. Like, how does St. Teresa sustain you during the pandemic?
It seems like there's a lot of good things going on in the parish in general by having more and more involvement or call for involvement and opportunities for involvement, as opposed to some sort of staid, maintenance-focused parish only.
How St. Teresa, we talked about this, has changed over time, and then kind of taking us to, okay, what does the future look like?
Well, I mean, thankfully we still have Father Phil. That's been a constant, and Deacon Larry. We had Deacon Bill before, who's I think he retired, and then Deacon Dwight came on board a few years ago. But when I first joined the parish, we were on green carpet in the church. So that's one change for sure. Seeing the upgrade, the capital campaign, the facelift and remodel of the church itself, and it's stunningly beautiful. Not that it was ugly before, but the night and day difference between what seemed leftovers perhaps from the 70s or 90s, I should say. That forest green was really popular in the 90s. Moving into the gym, now back into the church. So there's been a physical change, and it's been certainly for the better. I think that I don't have that 10-year, 20-year runway to really compare, because, as I said, what drew us to the parish was the recommendation from another family that has small children. Hey, there's a lot of families here. You would enjoy it. And so thankfully that's not changed. It's only seemed to have gotten bigger and better. I think the location of the church is tremendously beneficial for what we've seen happen around. You've had a lot of not gentrification, but just revitalization of the surrounding neighborhood, whereas families lived here 50 or 100 years ago, are back and raising children, and so that's caused a rising tide of some sort, and I think you're getting a lot of involvement. I don't know if parish numbers have increased, but I would think that they have, and so it just seems to be becoming more and more vibrant. So I've seen that.
Yeah, I think the next 5 years, we do have a kind of bold plan. A plan to really be St. Teresa in the Park, engage the community, and make sure that the members of our church who come to church every Sunday do have that kind of fire that slowly was lit in your chest as you went through and started to learn about the faith. So I understand that as a part of this effort, the Mission and Ministry Planning Committee, you've been recruited for the Adult Formation and Spirituality Task Force. So, like, what is your work, and in what ways does that work help you be optimistic about these 5 years?
Well, we've had a couple of meetings, and we've actually got another one this week, and it's led by Sandra Derby and Nancy Cochran, and it's to gather people who are identified through various channels and reasons. I don't know. We're still getting to know each other a little bit, the members of the task force, but I just felt this desire to share with others what I had experienced over the past really 3 years with various catechetical channels, whether they be Bible studies or media. I mean, we really do live in a blessed age of there's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to learning and practicing the Catholic faith that weren't around necessarily 20 years ago, or were in their infancy. And so I've mentioned that I've just kind of been hungrier for more, and now I want to share those resources with others, and hopefully maybe light that same fire with them.
Yeah, I was going to ask what's the goal, but I guess that is the goal, to light a fire on the earth.
That, and to become missionary disciples. But we're collaborating to come up with a vision on where we can be in 5 years to help. I don't want to necessarily speak for the committee, but to have opportunities abound. You can't attend Bible study on Thursday. Well, how about the one after Mass on Sunday? Or, or you're retired. How about the one that meets on Tuesday morning? You already studied Matthew? Well, here's one on 1 Peter, something like that, where there's a little bit of something for everybody. That way, not to put it harshly, but so nobody has an excuse. Because that's what we can do. We can kid ourselves out of doing something that we know we should do and probably want to do, but it's just too busy. Time's not convenient. But there's, like I said, there's an embarrassment of riches out there between various apostolates and educational sources, that there really is no excuse not to know your faith well, provided you care. And I think that's part of our mission too, is to help people care, because so that it's not just this cultural phenomenon that where you go through, I go to Mass on Sundays, I give up something for Lent, whereas you actually want to do these things because you understand them.
Thank you, Chris. And it was a pleasure to have you on the set today.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching.
Please like, subscribe, or comment